phone call or two.
No, don't start.
Corinne is coming.
Yeah, he put cover over there.
Julie, good morning.
Little-
All right, I'm going to go ahead and silence everyone.
Okay.
That sound.
I know.
3 o'clock.
Casey's coming in, by the way.
Okay.
All right. Yes. Take a picture. Yeah. Okay.
Take a picture.
Do you know how to do a screenshot?
Yes.
He just wants a screenshot.
Yes.
And then he can,
That's cool. I'll do it.
That's a good thought, not have to do all this bookkeeping.
well, that's a great
So-
call for me on a Saturday. I don't think.
One thing that we need to report, I think Dorothy was starting on that one of the members of our group passed away this week. Gay Lynn, who's been one of the mainstays for a long time, had a stroke at the Alison Krauss concert last week. And luckily, a good friend of ours was with her, and they took her to Ochsner. She had had a stroke. She was healthy enough at that point to be able to tell people what her code was to get into her phone. So they thought everything was hopeful. However, that night she had 2 blood clots and never recovered consciousness from that. She passed doing what she loved, absolutely loved music, and loved being with her friends. So it's really, in some ways, put me up for the way that she passed. And we'll be having a memorial service for her next Saturday in Shreveport, so we will not be doing the group. Unfortunately,
And they've adjusted the time, by the way.
it doesn't matter. We
Yeah,
can't, we might be able to do
Yeah.
it. It would be pushing it if they'll get,
So don't give up on us yet.
they'll get to 11 o'clock, but we'll let you know anyway, and we'll post some information about her memorial service. So,
Anything else that you wanted to add to that,
Dorothy?
Dorothy? Go ahead and unmute yourself and.
okay, nothing.
Okay. All right.
So if anyone was expecting beginning meditation, I'm going to disappoint you again. I don't know what it is. I keep getting inspired, and I'm going to go with the inspiration instead of with the program. Not like that's anything new to y'all. In my church in Chicago, in Shreveport, people were very disrespectful. They talked back to me during the service. And so one Sunday I'm saying, so today we're going to be doing something different. And someone pipes up and said, if we ever did the same thing 2 Sundays in a row, that would be different. So we're going to be doing the same old, same old. So today I want to do a meditation on 3 phrases that are phrases that Linnell and I like. The phrases, I have enough, I do enough, and I am enough, okay? Now, that sounds like something you put on a magnet, put up on your refrigerator.
It is on a magnet on my refrigerator.
So,
Sorry.
I know, that's where I get inspired, reading people's damn refrigerator magnets. So, the thing is, we lose the profundity of these common phrases. And so today I want to try to lead you in a direction. So one of the parts of yoga that we miss when we trivialized it is that we no longer really teach the 8 limbs of yoga. And the 8 limbs of yoga are the yamas and the niyamas. The yamas are restraints, things that we try to refrain from doing, like lying or stealing. And the niyamas are things that we try to cultivate. And before you ever get to doing the postures, you adopt this attitude, begin to direct your life and put some restraints on it and begin to cultivate some quality. Then you start doing the pranayama, the yoga, the breath practices, and then you start doing the postures. All right. So they come late, and the rest after that is pretty much meditation. So one of the things that we're supposed to cultivate is a thing called contentment. And I love the word for it, santosha. It just sounds beautiful. Cultivation of santosha, of being content with what you have in life. So when we say, I have enough, this is a spirit that comes out of awe. Remember, we were talking last week about awe. And so people who experience the awe, who experience the spirit, experience God's presence, in that moment, you don't want anything else. Think about when you've seen a sunrise and you're just totally lost in the sunrise, or you're lost in the ocean. You don't care about the new car. You don't care about the bracelet that you saw. All the other desires are gone. And there's that total fulfillment. That's why we call it fulfillment, is because you're full. You're so full, you don't want anything else. So when we say, I have enough, it's a reminder that if you never say, I have enough, you'll never experience contentment with life. If I'm always thinking I need more than I have in this moment, then no moment you pass through is good enough. You've automatically decided, I will be dissatisfied for the rest of my life. So this is voluntary simplicity. This is what you begin to discover in people who embody the spirit that they discover in these moments of awe. And they say, wow, I discovered I really don't need that. Now I'm going to bring that into my daily life and remind myself, I have enough. Now, similarly, I am enough, and I've asked Linnell to put a chart up.
You want it now?
Yep, so we're going to run it now. This is from Alfred Adler. It was fundamental to my training as an Adlerian therapist. And y'all are welcome to take a look at this. All right. So you have 3 lines. That top line moving up is what you expect. What you expect of yourself, what you expect of other people, what you expect out of life. The straight line is reality. Reality doesn't change, okay? It's the constant. And that's also who you are. And then you see the line descending on the bottom. And that is your self-esteem and your unhappiness. So what the chart is saying is the greater the distance between what you expect out of yourself and what you can actually do is your resulting loss of self-esteem. The greater the distance between what other people can do, and that, remember that thing, most of your unhappiness is because you're asking people to do things they can't do. This is what the chart is telling you. The more I ask people, the unhappier I'm going to be. In the same way, the more I expect out of life, the more unhappy I'm going to be. So what this is saying is, you can shut that off now, sure, is that you can't control reality. We're all trying to get reality to shift to our expectations, and that's why we feel weak. It's why we feel like failures. But the point is, that's impossible. What we're asking ourselves to do is impossible. Now, when we have that unconscious perfectionism, and we add the perfectionism to the mix, when you expect yourself to be perfect, you can't do more damage to your spirit than to expect perfection. You can't do more to cultivate your unhappiness than that unconscious perfectionism and expectation of other people and of life. So when I say I'm do enough, I'm giving myself permission to stop that endless to-do list that goes off in your head, okay? Your monkey mind constantly generates things that you feel compelled to do so life will be better than it is. Contentment invites us to drop all striving to be better, all striving to have more, all striving to get people to be better, and simply allow who I am and what I'm doing to be enough. Good enough is good enough, okay? And then I am enough. I am enough. When you hear me say in our meditations, let go of all striving, let go of all understanding, settle into that sense that there's, I am worthy as I am. I am worthy as I am. There's nothing to add. There's nothing to subtract. Now, this is a statement we have to balance, as D.T. Suzuki says. He says, we are perfect just as we are, and we can all use a little improvement. Now, that's the paradox. That's the two poles that we swing between. But what we neglect in this is we neglect, first we establish the sense, I am perfect just as I am, right? How do we make that statement? Okay? The reason we can make that statement is we need to be aware that we are God. We are God incarnate. There is something other than God. So I have a couple of poems that I think could lead us in this direction in terms of understanding what I mean by this. First is Mary Oliver's poem, Wild Geese. She says, you don't have to be good. You don't have to walk on your knees for 100 miles through the desert repenting. You only have to let your soft animal of your body love what it loves. This is giving us permission to allow us to be in our bodies, to savor creation, to understand that God is experiencing God's creation through us. And this comes from a poem by Anne Sexton that I absolutely love. Let me see if I can get to it. Called The Earth. It says, God loafs around heaven without a shape, but he'd like to smoke a cigar or chew his fingernails and so on. God owns heaven, but he craves the earth with its little sleepy caves, its birds resting in the kitchen window, even its murders lined up like broken chairs, even its writers digging into their souls with jackhammers, even its hucksters selling their animals for gold, even its babies sniffing for their music, the farmhouse, white as a bone, sitting in the lap of its corn, even the statue holding up its widowed life. But most of all, he envies the bodies. He who has no body, the eyes opening and shutting like keyholes and never forgetting, recording by thousands, the skull with its brains like eels, the tablet of the world, the bones and their joints that build and break for any trick, the genitals, the ballast of the eternal, and the heart, of course, that swallows the tides and spits them out cleansed. He does not envy the soul so much. He's all soul, but he would like to be housed in a body and come down and give it a bath now and then. We're so afraid of taking delight in our body. What a sensual smorgasbord we're being offered every day. The world around us is so full of wonder, and we spend all our time trying to make everything better than it is instead of sitting in the wonder and the glory of what it is. Feeling that tingling, delightful sensation when the world's energy hits the energy of our bodies and the senses are lit up. And we think that that's not spirituality. We've been taught to avoid that is something other than the spiritual life, and it's the very essence of the spiritual life. It's us experiencing our sacredness. So you are goodness. When we say, I have enough, I do enough, I am enough, it's an invitation to stop trying to make yourself better and to simply delight in what is in this moment, okay? And to see your beauty, to see your goodness, not to try to become good, not to try to become beautiful, but to realize you're there, dude. You're there, okay? So we'll go into the meditation today, and I'll repeat these words, and I invite you to settle into them and do a little exploration and feel the truth behind the words. Allow yourself to let go of all thinking, let go of all doing. Simply settle into the pleasure of simply being, okay? So, here we go. So let yourself settle into your breath. Perhaps receiving the breath with the sense of the creation story in Genesis, that you're receiving prana, the breath of God. This is not an ancient story, it's a present moment experience of receiving the spirit of life and being quickened. Saying you're divine is not a pleasant thing to make you feel better about yourself and build your ego. It's something to be experienced in this moment, that I'm riding the very energies of life. I'm not a drop of the ocean, I'm the ocean in the drop. Let go of all striving, all needing to understand, all analysis, judgment. Settling into this moment. What are you sensing? What is your body feeling? And know that all the spiritual emptiness that you feel is because you're separated from the sensations of this moment. Because you're so busy thinking and doing that you never experience that manna that spiritual nurture that's given to you every day. You open without striving. Bring into your awareness your emptiness, your longing. Not to something in the future, but into this moment. Without striving, just soften and allow what surrounds you to fill you. The sounds, the sense. You can open your eyes and see what surrounds you. Without chastising yourself, simply allow yourself to be aware, I have enough in this moment, because there is no other moment. In this moment, I can be content. Let the belly soften fully to receive that truth. Sense of deprivation, of victory. In this moment, I have enough. Now, I do enough. You get to decide what is enough, not the world, certainly not the judgmental, critical voice in your head. You get to say enough is enough. And because you do enough, you get to allow the God in you to smoke a good cigar, take a bath, go outside and play, and fulfill God Simply allowing yourself to thrill to the gift of life in this moment because you've done enough. Allowing yourself to rest and to play in this moment. Without guilt or shame. Doing what Jesus invited us to do, to actually consider the beasts in the field, the lilies, the children. Consider them. Look at how they live. Nature's out playing. Squirrels are playing. Birds are playing. What God does, God doesn't work. That play in the fields of the Lord. And finally, I am enough. The sacred chose to be incarnated as messy imperfection in you. But that's a perfect imperfection. And instead of looking for what's wrong, look for what's beautiful. Look for the goodness in yourself. For the joy, the peace that you incarnate. I am enough. Just as I am, I'm worthy, nothing to add or subtract.
I am light, I am light. I am not the things my family did. I am not the voices in my head. I am not the pieces of the brokenness inside. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. I'm not the mistakes that I have made, or any of the things that cause me pain. I am not the pieces of the dream I left behind. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light. I am light, I am light, yeah. I am light, I am light. I am not the color of my eyes. I am not the skin on the outside. I am not my age. I am not my race. My soul inside is all light. All light. Oh, light. Yeah. Oh, light. I am light, I am light. I am light, I am light. Yeah. I am divinity defined. I am the God on the inside. I am a star, a piece of it all. I am light.
I can't help it, but I know y'all as little boxes on my iPad, and two of my little boxes are gone. One
Yep.
was called Tim and one was called Galen. And we're all in the same boat. We have our little boxes. I just want to say I appreciate every one of you. And that was a lovely song with Galen being light and Tim. Thank you.
Thank you, Corinne. So this is the point where we ask questions and make comments, but we do so. One of the rules in forming this group is to listen, not to argue. and to speak from the heart in the present moment, not from your philosophies, but from your experience in the moment. So, what y'all got today?
I was having trouble feeling a lot of tightness today and working on it very hard during our meditation. But as soon as the music started, it was just like a wave, and it eased what I was going through.
I had almost the same experience of a wave of energy going through my body from bottom to the top. It was beautiful. That was India Ari, by the way. Song I Am Light. You can find it on YouTube. It's one of our go-to when you're in a funky mood to remind you who you are. That and Jean-Baptiste, Freedom. Another good one. I can see clearly now, the rain is gone. Another good one.
I have to comment on your New York pronunciation of "or."
Oh,
He was born in New York. He can't really claim it,
Yeah.
but
but
I
I
can
can claim
recognize that moment of awe.
Okay,
that
but you got to
gave us.
realize I'm also from New Orleans, which has a
Which
lot
has a
of
lot of New York
the
in it.
Irish Channel
It really
has
does.
got a lot of
Hello?
Hey,
Hi. I think maybe you might know Cherie.
Hey, I can't see glasses.
Barb,
Yes. Hey.
I know I'm gray,
It-
but
but you're still beautiful.
oh, you're a doll. I
Yes.
just miss y'all.
Yeah. So you're still going by Bull, Cherie Bull. or-
I am. I
Thank-
am.
Yep. How could I forget
Welcome.
you,
How
Cherie?
could you forget me? You've been such a transition for me in my life. So it's a beautiful thing to be here.
It's good to have you.
Thank you.
How do we add people in, Bart? Do we send them, do they text you or do we give their number to you? How does
Well,
that?
I used to be more controlling,
It's a serenity prayer.
basically because I did not want any disruptive forces. One of the reasons I'm not in the parish ministry is I have a low tolerance for bullshit and egos, okay? And so I like to screen people that they're not here to promote their own agenda and to argue with everybody and everything that we do. I now have a delete button that I can keep off screen.
That's handy. That's handy.
Beware.
That is such a delight to have. So far, we've never had to use it. So I've kind of evolved to a point, if you feel that they could function here. One of the reasons I like people who are 12-steppers is we know how to do this. We do this in our,
Answered yet.
so
So
we,
the answer is you can forward the invitation that Bart sends out, or you
Okay.
can give us.
Well, I do get the invitation. I've forgotten how much who I am.
yeah,
That's why I'm here. My human being is screaming for my spirit to be active.
Oh,
And so I'm here to do that.
glad you did. As Arthur Foote, Brad knows Arthur, he was kind of our forerunner in the Unitarian movement in terms of doing this kind of stuff. He wrote a little blurb on an alternation of vision and blindness, that our journey is not straight upward in a straight line. It's up and back and up and back and up and back. And so we backslide and then we remember. And I always loved when I used to journal, I'd have these
don't worry
insights.
about it.
Oh,
It's
man,
okay.
God, this is the answer to everything.
Doing that.
And then 2 months later, I'd have another insight. Oh God, this is wonderful. And I'd look back over, and it was the same damn insight that I was having. I was dumbing up and forgetting it in between. And it takes about 400 of those before you start staying awake. So stay persistent, and they begin to tie together and actually go somewhere. So I'm glad you're awake for a while. Stay as long as you can. It's a great place to live. Anybody else?
Or that kind of takes, I hope you can hear me. That kind of takes me into a question of when you were talking about I am, one of the things that you always say is, I'm here for good, I'm not imperfection. But what if imperfection, there is no such thing. That is a construct of the mind. And every experience, like I'm thinking about when you're talking about being and tight and what if that's just our ability to experience the world?
Yeah.
It's not a good or a bad. And I think that our mind puts it wants to have these definitions that are not true if we look at everything as an opportunity to be with spirit and see how spirit is responding to the experience. And that includes our grief. And we'd like to hear you share more about that.
What is would like for what?
Hear you share more of that.
Which part of what you just said? You said so much, I was lost in what you said.
Hello.
Just go for random thoughts then.
Okay. Well, okay, I'm gonna latch on to the word perfection, and probably the most destructive mistranslation in the Bible is the phrase from the Sermon on the Mount that says, "Be ye perfect, even as your Father in heaven is perfect." Okay, what we know now with modern biblical scholarship is that Jesus could never have said that. That is absolutely impossible to say in Aramaic. And what happened was they were taking a concept from Judaism and trying to translate it into Greek thought. And the Greeks were the ones who came up with the idea of perfection. They saw the heavens as perfect and the circle as something perfect. And they thought that God had ideas of perfection in his mind when he did creation, and that everything is a model of this heavenly perfection in God's mind. So the perfection is God's thought. The Jews couldn't have had that thought. Okay, Jesus could not have had that thought as a Jew. What the Jews had was a concept from Moses' confrontation with God when he says, "Who am I?" And we think that he said, "I am who I am," but again, that's not nuanced enough. What he actually says is, "I am who I will be." He's saying, I'm not a thing. I'm not something you can name. I'm a process. You can live with me, which is what the Old Testament is, the story of the Jews living with this force that they're encountering and trying to describe what that experience is. He never said, "I'm perfect." He said, "I am who I will be." So Jesus is talking to these people. It's his profound sermon he gives. And he says, will only to unfold out of your own nature. Will only to unfold out of your own nature, even as God wills only to unfold out of his nature. You hear that? You're created only to unfold out of your nature. But again, ego hears that as permission to do whatever I want to do. That's why I forget his name, Bhagavan Sri Rajneesh's people got into trouble. They thought it was permission for license, and it's not. It's saying, because he's tying this into his 2 commandments, love God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and love your neighbor as yourself. What he's saying is that God wills only to unfold out of his love. And hear that, only to unfold out of his love. You are created in God's image. You are incarnated love. You are incarnated life. You are incarnated joy. Will only to unfold out of that. That's what he's saying. Yeah. So when you are in touch with those energies of life, those sacred energies, yeah, let them flow. Like you're saying, take delight in those energies, ride those energies. But you'll find that that doesn't mean violating other life. That means unfolding in harmony with the life around you. Not trying to change it, not trying to make it over in your ego's image of how it should be, but taking delight in it as it is. Is that helpful, Hansa?
Go, Guy.
I just wanted to point out, I find it so interesting how these the different cultures have workarounds for these issues. And in the Jewish tradition, they have a thing that they do during Passover. They sing a song, it's called the Dayenu, and it roughly translates as
I would be enough.
it is sufficient.
Yeah, I am enough.
Yeah.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Same concept. But the thing is not to agree with the truth of it. It's to live the truth of it. That's where you can believe in it all day long, but can you carry this awareness into when you're washing the dishes and you're sitting there resenting the fact that you're having to wash the dishes, but letting go of any sense that I'm being constrained or compelled by anybody else to do the things that I'm doing it because I can, and because I really love clean dishes, and I really love a clean floor.
Because that's what's happening now.
That's what's happening right now.
In my life.
Yeah.
When is Mary Magdalene thing start?
Here, I'll send it to you right now.
Okay, you're unmuted, Dorothy.
Oh, I was just gonna leave, because people are wanting to start comment for the, meeting in
Okay.
this room.
Well, glad to have y'all carry on.
By the way, I'll just tell you real quick, Bart and I have to get together. We're starting a sacred temple of Mary Magdalene. Well, her gospel just got out 50 years ago. She's been silent since the 2nd century.
Now, I'm
So
one of the people who believe that she was the beloved disciple, because if you look at your list of the 12 disciples, there's 3 different versions. They all have one that they replaced with a man, and I think she was the one that was taken out. And I also think she was the founder of the Coptic Church, was the more
Yeah.
branch.
They just found the gospel 100 years ago in Egypt in a jar, and then they were going to print it, and then it flooded, and then he took it somewhere. They're going to print it again, and a war started. It just got printed 50 years ago.
Right.
So anyway, it's all good. I can't wait to talk to you about it. Bye, y'all.
Bye, Dorothy.
Bye.
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 You want a chair?
It is when you're being jerked around by, gotta do the taxes, gotta do, all the daily life stuff is when it's really difficult to just know that you're enough because you're doing things that you have to do, and you just get into different mode. I mean, washing the dishes is fine because you're just doing that at your house, but all this other stuff that you have to do, people that are working have it, retired people have it easier, I really do think. If there's enough financial for them to just live a normal life, But hunting after the money just is difficult to just know that you're enough and everything's perfect. That trips me up.
So what we don't realize is that judgmental mind runs in the background, souring every moment. So, and it's just a part of your brain. It's coming out of the amygdala, the fear-based thing that if I don't do this, I'm going to be in trouble. We've had that instilled in us all our lives, and we need to break free. We need to recognize that I have to, I need to thing as the conditioned mind, and step out of it and see what it feels like to just do this because I enjoy it, not because I'm getting to some goal by doing it, just enjoying the thing in itself. Even if it's unpleasant, it's less unpleasant when you choose.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pam?
Oh, so I have an art practice, and every year at the beginning of the year, so in January, I pick a word for the year. And my word for this year is enough.
Good for you.
So I really relate to this. And when I do my journaling with my glimmers, and I always start with, I am safe, I am enough, and maybe one other thing.
Yeah.
So that really hits my heart.
So could you, since you're doing this, I often like people to report back to the group, not in an egotistical kind of way to build yourself up, but have you noticed any impact in your life when you do that journaling?
Well, and it carries over to the rest of my life too.
In what way do you find it carry?
If I find myself feeling inadequate or like I just can't do something, I'm so much more gentle with myself. I can say to myself, you're enough just how you are. I'll be in social situations where I'll feel awkward and I'll think, oh, I wonder if people are judging me. And it's like,
Yes.
no, they don't give a rat's ass. They don't really care. Just be yourself. You're enough just how you are. But to remind myself of that every morning, and then when I do my art too, before I start my art, I do that. It's really improved my life.
Okay. So that's beautiful, because that's how it works, is that it begins to carry over into awareness in your life, and you wake up in those moments and have that experience off the mat. That's what we're looking for.
Bart, what was the second poem you read?
The second poem I read, it was called The Earth by Anne Sexton.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
If you haven't read her stuff, man, it is just killer.
I call that critical voice my inner Puritan.
Yeah. Absolutely is. Well named. Well named.
I want to know, Guy and Sharon, or Guy and Ginger, is it 2 weeks out now? 2 weeks.
What's happening in 2 weeks?
Jamaica.
Oh, sweet.
Okay.
A wedding.
Wedding. So Linnell and I were wondering if you were married yet.
Yep, I think it happened.
2 weeks.
2 weeks it's happening? Sweet. Congratulations. And condolences.
Yeah, congratulations.
I wanted to share, this has been happening more and more. And when it happens, I feel, I don't know, I guess part of me feels a little bit of a sense of pride. So there's definitely some ego in there. But, some of you know, I embarked on this huge gardening project a couple of weeks ago, and it's just back-breaking manual labor. It's very hard. I'm very tired, but it's also, I love it. I love gardening. I love, planting new things and making new garden areas and stuff. So I really enjoy it. So yesterday, I took the day off. There's an annual plant sale that happens here in Minnesota. It's called the Friends School Plant Sale. It's been going on for like 30 years. And like the complete psychopath that I am, I got up at 4:30 in the morning yesterday. I was in line at this plant sale by 5:29 a.m. Anyway, so long story short, I spend all my money on hundreds and hundreds of plants. I come home with these plants. I can't wait to get out in the garden and start planting stuff. And I walked through the kitchen, and the kitchen was just a nightmare. And I thought to myself, oh, I really don't want to do this. I really want to go outside and do that. And so I started doing the dishes, and I was, rushing. I was rushing through the dishes and kind of being a little bit irritated that I was doing the dishes at all.
Yep.
And then I stopped, and I was like, I found a way to really get into doing the dishes, and like exactly what you said, just being with this fork, or being with this bowl.
Yeah.
It was a whole different vibe.
Okay. I wanted y'all to note something. Did you notice when she started laughing about what she was doing? That is irony. And that's what happens when spirit sees what ego's up to, and it becomes a joke. At the time we're experiencing it, it's very serious and very tragic. And then when we look back in retrospect, or when we catch ourselves, we see the joke. And this is very much what Alan Watts taught. And he said, the reason we're unhappy is we're taking seriously what God meant as a joke. And you got the joke, and you are the joke, and I am the joke. And the joke is that we're these little bitty egos trying to control what doesn't want to be controlled. That's the joke. And Linnell and I describe it in an image that when she was little, they had those little car seats for kids that were made out of aluminum. They went over the back when we still had bench seats in the cars, and it had a little plastic steering wheel with a little horn in it. And you sit there as a kid thinking you're driving the car. And how exhilarating was that? And that's where we all are. We got a whole plastic wheel that isn't attached to anything. And all our self-importance is derived from having a hold of that damn.
Nice.
Yeah.
The other thing that occurred to me while that was happening was that I actually said to myself, no one's making you do the dishes. Like, if you really don't want to do them, then stop and go outside.
Exactly. That's all I teach people.
Yeah.
Stop and go outside and play. Yeah. You've done your time. Yep. You get to decide when enough is enough. Not mom, not dad, not the school teachers. You get to say, time to go play.
I get a heads up though when you call yourself a psychopath. That's that
I got up at 4:30 to go buy plants, Corinne. That's a little nuts.
I know, but given it's such a strong term, that kind of hurts my feelings.
I'm sorry,
Because you're not,
I take it back then.
She's inviting you to be gentler with yourself.
All right. Fair enough.
Your body's always listening to the words that you say about yourself.
Yeah.
You're a good psycho.
That's right.
You do it. You do it perfectly.
Psychopathic in the best kind of way.
There you
With
go.
the best
You
kind
are
of people.
Perfect psychopath. So no people
No judgment.
No judgment. Let's go, because people are.
All right, take a deep breath in.
Wow.
Wow.
Bowsy wowsy.
Wow, everybody.
Have a great week, everyone.
You
Yes.
too.
Hansa, could you please tell us what you're dealing with,
There's Gaylan.
if you don't mind sharing, with your health?
Oh, there she is.
I've had some gastrointestinal things since I had the COVID vaccine for 6 years. I end up having these episodes that I end up in the hospital about every 3 to 4 months. And it kind of came to a culmination starting in February. And I ended up having surgery about on the 20th of April. I actually had surgery on the 27th of March, and they had to go back in on the 20th of April. And they ended up doing a gastric bypass. They had to take out about 6 inches of my intestines.
Wow.
So what I'm doing now is I'm learning how to digest life. I'm learning how to eat in the way that I'm supposed to eat now. I'm learning how to be still and quiet, and and yeah, and how I want to take in the world a different way.
Okay,
So it's kind of an exciting time.
Good for you. Have they looked into mast cell activation syndrome at all?
That's yeah. I've had probably 20 to 25 different tests in the last 6 years, and everything turns out that there's nothing wrong.
No.
And actually, this is just an interesting story. They decided to do a thing where I was supposed to swallow a camera
Right.
so they could see inside my intestine. But before they do that, you had to swallow this pill that's about the size of like your little finger, and it has radioactive things in it, and they follow it with x-rays to make sure it's moving through. That triggered an obstructive bowel. And so they took me in for emergency surgery because they had to get in before that test pill dissolved.
I thought you were leaving us.
Yep.
Cytokine storms, Bart.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, Hansa, can Cherry talk with you and share her experience of a thing that is not a common knowledge right now? People who have had COVID, it activates your immune system. It becomes overactive, and it creates things called cytokine storms.
I've heard of them, but I don't know about them.
Okay. And your description that they can't find anything physical, they run all the tests and they can't find anything. Cherry's been through that, and a number of my other clients have. And so there's some specific tests that they can do that are not standard tests to tell you. So a part of what happens in it is that you're not metabolizing. It sucks up your magnesium, sucks up your B6 and your B12. And that prevents metabolizing the adrenaline and the cortisol in your body. So you start getting a buildup of these things. And it's called a process called methylation. So it starts with a cytokine storm. That leads to problems with metabolizing this. And then all these things cascade with headaches, with, I can't tell you how many people we know who've had organs taken out and they find out the organ didn't have a problem. I've got one client who's got interstitial lung problems. It'll show up in lung problems. It'll show up in heart problems, but it's really a hyperactivation of the immune system. I'll send you some information on it to look at. It's all over Instagram now.
I had a virologist, neurologist at Mayo Clinic in Phoenix. I had a consult with her, and she's the one who diagnosed mine, post-viral syndrome. That's what it's called, post-viral syndrome. And it actually rewrote the neural networks of my digestive tract. And that's there's people who were dying early from COVID that they didn't understand why their hearts were stopping, different like kidney, different organs. It's this immune system cytokine storm was hitting different organs. So I totally also have a very, it's not restrictive, it's a narrow diet I choose. But she did explain to me that that these viruses, what I had was influenza A and shingles within 2 weeks of each other. And the viruses actually, they have found rewrite entire neural networks of organ systems.
Well, mine didn't come from COVID, it came from the vaccine.
Right, but it can still trigger
But-
that because
yeah,
it's the
but it
immune
triggered it.
reaction.
And Sherry, that's very interesting because right after I had a really bad reaction to the vaccine, number one.
Right.
I was supposed to get the Johnson & Johnson and they gave me the Pfizer, which is an mRNA, which means it's screwing with your RNA. That's what triggers some of the cytokinin thing. Is what is my understanding so far. But then I had shingles.
Right.
I'm telling you, it's the
After my
virus.
first, I'm going to call it my episodes because every time I have an episode, I had to go to the hospital and have IVs and stuff because of it. And so I was doing that 3 to 4 times a year.
Yeah.
And-
I had every one of the GI things. I swallowed a camera. I had all of those. They couldn't find it. The endocrinologist couldn't find it. It was finally this Mayo Clinic doctor who said, this is what we've been dealing with since COVID. And let me tell you what's happening. The last time I had COVID, I was in the ER. They thought my appendix was bursting.
I wonder.
They told me BS. They did this and they go, oh, you're constipated. And as
You
soon as
know,
she said
yeah.
that, I was like, no, it's a cytokine storm. It was fully a cytokine storm, made my intestines spasm.
So I'm going to read up on that because it would be nice to, we're hoping that we're beyond it. They did find a part of my intestine that was less than the thickness of my finger.
Ooh,
Yeah,
wow.
that's
And
not
so
good.
what was happening is food would get in there, it would push it in, and then it would create an intestinal blockage.
Right.
And then when I would get sick, because what happened is I would throw up for, hours. And then it would release. So they could never find it. So when that happened to have that precursor pill before the camera, because it was sending out radiation, they could
Right.
find it. And that's
Well,
why
that was a gift.
surgery. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
all of this stuff that you think is, bad stuff, it ended up being like everything fell into the right place at the right time. And
So
I'm-
low inflammation diet, and I can send you some of the stuff that, anyway, the Mayo Clinic doctor and my DO has me on some supplements and things that have been very helpful. I don't eat meat. Meat's very hard to digest. I don't eat
didn't make it-
non-fermented dairy. It's very hard to digest.
Fermented
And
foods.
it's just
I'm
a question of
I'm
finding
a vegan
what's,
pretty much, so
yeah.
meat and
It's-
all of that stuff is not normally in my diet.
Right.
Anyway.
So it's just finding